What is up, guys? Welcome back. Another episode of the Fantasy Fellows Show for you guys here on a Wednesday evening, November 5th. It's the weekly start sit program. We're going to go over the player practice news from today. We'll look at some start sit charts that I have on the fantasyfellowship.com, and of course, answer any questions that you guys have in the chat room. So if you guys do have questions, please get them going in the comments. I will get to them after I just kind of read through the player practice news today. I'm just going to hit one more zoom here, and let's see what we're cooking with this afternoon, this evening. Cooper Kupp listed as did not practice today. He's got a heel, a hamstring. Of course, they just traded for Rashid Shaheed. I am listing Cooper Kupp as doubtful this week, so I think Torrey Horton and Rashid Shaheed are both wide receiver 3 flexes in this first game for Rashid Shaheed as a Seahawk. This is an interesting one. Nick Chubb does not practice today, and you guys know how I feel about Wednesday practices. It's the least important day to practice, but it does paint a picture for how the rest of the week will go for the players. So Nick Chubb not practicing, this could be a really nice opportunity for Woody Marks if Nick Chubb continues to not practice. So we'll watch that one. Dyami Brown with the concussion, limited. I do think Dyami Brown is he's kind of the outside guy here for the Jags. When the Jags are healthy, you got Brian Thomas ankle injury. When they're healthy, it's going to be Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and Brian Thomas Jr. Dyami Brown probably can be dropped into redraft leagues. I know Brian Thomas did not practice today, so we'll watch for his participation tomorrow. But we did get good news that it is a low ankle issue. Or it's a low grade high ankle sprain for Brian Thomas. So tomorrow will be a big day for him. Marvin Mims listed as out. So Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, those guys should be in your lineups. Pat Bryant, more of a deep flex if you need somebody. Aaron Jones, they've expressed optimism about this shoulder. The toe injury is the new one here for me. We'll see about this, but it's looking like Jordan Mason might get a little bit extra, just a little extra workload this weekend. So we'll see if Aaron Jones plays tomorrow or practices tomorrow. Puka Nacua sounds like he's going to be fine for week 10. Let me see. Ollie Gordon limited after his ankle sprain last Thursday Night Football. No one's starting him in fantasy football, but it's good to see that he is back. Devon Vele, the Broncos receiver that was traded for by the Saints back in the, August preseason. He's going to have a healthy role and will be very involved the rest of season. So if you guys want to just sneak someone on the end of your bench, maybe Devon Vele is the guy we're looking for. I was really frustrated when I saw this. Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin. Not like Godwin, I don't care about, but Bucky Irving, man, like it's been a month plus since we've seen Bucky Irving play for the Bucs. They just come off their bye week and he's still not practicing. That's a head scratcher for me. So I'm concerned. I've listed Bucky Irving as doubtful for week 10 here. I think you're looking at Rachaad White and Sean Tucker being the backs for the Buccaneers in week 10 here. So very frustrating for Bucky Irving owners. You guys were expecting him to back in week 10 after the bye, but it looks like it might be at least 1 or 2 more weeks. Let's see what else we got. This is great news for Quinshon Judkins with the shoulder, the AC joint sprain that he had back in week 8. They're on their bye week 9. He comes back and he's not even on the injury report for week 10. So against the Jets this weekend, yeah, you're starting Quinshon Judkins, Tyrod Taylor, whatever. Good news for Garrett Wilson, limited with the knee injury. He's practicing today. We want to see him continue to stack limited or full practices the rest of the week. I'm expecting him to play in week 10. He can be your wide receiver 3 flex. Cedric Tillman is back for the Cleveland Browns with that hamstring injury. Probably not going to care for fantasy. It's just a very low volume passing offense, but it's good to see Cedric Tillman back at least. No Isaiah Bond, whatever. We'll keep an eye on this one. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, I refuse to call him Bill for some reason, but he was limited in practice today with a tooth. Who knows what's going on here? But I'm pretty much completely off Washington Commanders. I'll play Marcus Mariota in Superflex leagues as a QB2. I'll play Zach Ertz as a low-end tight end 1, and I'll play Deebo Samuel. But after that, I'm just not interested in the running backs and the other receivers. We have a note from Kyle Shanahan today saying he's pretty confident we'll see Brandon Ayuk at some point this season. If you're holding Ayuk at this point, if you need to make a move and move on from him, I think it's fine. It's just whenever a guy tears his knee, whether it's the ACL, the MCL, or both, we're not going to see this player return back from his self that first year he's back. To me, it's very clear. Like Ayuk 2027, cool. Or 2026, I'm into Ayuk, just not 2025. They're saying Dante Thornton will be active in week 10. Ricky Pearsall not practicing for the 49ers. That's disappointing. Brock Purdy remains limited on Wednesday here. We'll see if he plays in week 10. We'll keep an eye on this one. This one kind of raised my eyebrows here. Michael Pittman Jr. not practicing today. We'll keep an eye on that. Again, Wednesdays, I don't really care about Wednesdays, but it is an information note at the least. Let's see what else we got here. Luther Burden, full practice. Cole Kmet limited with that concussion. So that's a bit of a surprise for me. I thought he would be doubtful going into week 10, and I would like Colston Loveland. But with him being limited, just to pump the brakes here on Colston Loveland. DeAndre Swift limited back in practice with that groin injury, so we'll continue to watch him. Obviously, it'd be nice if he didn't play for Kyle Monangai owners. And if DeAndre Swift does play, I think it's going to be – I mean, at this point, Monangai looked really good. It might be a split going forward, so we'll watch that one. Kyler Murray officially on IR. He's going to miss the next 4 games. So Jacoby Brissett should have been added in Superflex leagues. And Kyler Murray, man, I don't think he has it to be a professional starting quarterback. I think the offense is better with Jacoby Brissett. I think the Cardinals should be seriously looking at quarterbacks in 2026. So I don't think this is a bad thing. The Texans have already ruled out CJ Stroud with a concussion, which I think is the right thing. They're playing the Jags at home. They have a chance to win this game. I don't think that's a terrible early call here on Wednesday. Let me see if we got anything else here. So Rico Dowdle did not practice today, but he was doing stuff on the side. So I'm not overly concerned about this. They're just kind of managing him. He was kind of in and out of the Packer game on Sunday. I think he's going to play. I'm expecting him to play. I have him as a top 10 running back in my rankings, which we can look at later. But Rico Dowdle not practicing today. Overall, not too concerned here. No Ramondre Stevenson or Kayshon Boutte. We don't really care about Kayshon Boutte for fantasy quite yet, unless you're in a really deep league. But Ramondre Stevenson remaining out with that toe injury. We're going to continue to rely on TreVeyon Henderson and Terrell Jennings. TreVeyon got 14 carries. Jennings got 11. He got the touchdown. Like, Jennings is a guy that could be annoying for Henderson owners. Let me see what else we got. I think we're all kind of caught up on practice news today. This was probably the most shocking news of the day, though. The James Cook ankle foot won't practice Wednesday. I've seen the clip going around where he kind of got tackled awkwardly on his last play of the game in week 9. There's a real chance that he might be doubtful this weekend. We'll see if he practices tomorrow, but I think if you had the opportunity to add a guy like Ray Davis, I would do so. And I know there's some people that are on the Ty Johnson train, the Ray Davis train. I'm a Ray Davis guy. I think he's the clear backup. He's the one that they want to hand the ball off to. I think Ty Johnson remains as a receiving back role and kind of keeps doing what he's been doing. But for me, I would add Ray Davis tonight if I have an open – if I have someone that I don't care about on my bench, I'm going to add Ray Davis tonight, see if James Cook continues to practice, and we'll kind of figure it out as we go along. But I think that's the majority of the player news from today. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm going to get to some questions from the chat. I'm going to pull up the start sit charts, routinely on Wednesday nights, I want to continue to, answer everyone's questions in the chat, but I also want to pull up the start sit charts and make sure we go over each game for the weekend. So good evening to Harris. Hope you're doing well, my buddy. He's asking Jacoby Brissett or Davis Mills. I think this one's pretty easy. I do think the Jacksonville defense is wounded right now. We're watching to see if they have some starters coming back, specifically Devin Lloyd. That defense has been different when Devin Lloyd's been on the field. But to me, Davis Mills, doesn't really inspire a lot for me. He doesn't run the football. He does have good weapons to throw the ball to. I'm going to lean Jacoby Brissett here, and I think it's not close. I think I have Jacoby Brissett, quarterback 21. I think I have Davis Mills like QB 27, something like that. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Brissett here. You have that rushing upside. He's been getting goal line touchdowns and things like that, and he's been playing really, really well. So I think it's pretty easy. I'm going Jacoby Brissett over Davis Mills this weekend. And good July 12th. Good evening, my man. We got offered Christian McCaffrey and Goddard for Kittle, Josh Jacobs, and Zay. Definitely accept right. So, Mr. July 12th, I would need more context here. I need to know how your running backs and your receiver depth look. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the best player in this deal. But Kittle, Jacobs, and Zay, like those are really nice players. But we're giving up Christian McCaffrey, who's just been unbelievable. Dallas Goedert's been pretty good. I don't know if that's worth it. Goddard to Kittle, I'd rather have Kittle rest of the year. CMC to Jacobs, I'd rather have CMC the rest of the year. So this question really comes down to is, do I want to lose Zay Flowers for the rest of the year? I don't know if I want to. Like Zay Flowers with Lamar Jackson has looked pretty damn good. So I'm needing more context here. I'm going to lean towards keeping the best player with CMC. I don't know if Zay basically is the question is the upgrade from Kittle, like, is that enough to get me over the hump here? I don't know if I want to do it because I like those pieces that you have there. This one's tough, Harris. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be 100%, even if he does play. I think I play Jauan Jennings this weekend. Let's take a peek here at the fantasy points allowed. And if you guys can remember, maybe 3 or 4 Thursday nights ago, we got a Rams 49ers game. And man, Mac Jones looked really good against the Rams. He was dealing the ball to Kendrick Bourne. The Rams ranked 20th in fantasy points allowed to the wide receivers. I think it's Jauan Jennings here. Even if Aaron Jones plays, I'm thinking it's Jauan Jennings. I'm going to take that floor and the ceiling there. Aaron Jones is not 100% right now. So I'm going to go with Jauan Jennings here, Harris. And good evening to Double Tap. All right. Who would I rather have on my bench? I love these questions. Tez Golden Coker, or maybe even Veli now. Not sure if I spelled his name right. I think it's Troy Frank, or not Troy Franklin. Tez Johnson is who I'd rather have right now. I don't expect Chris Godwin to come back and be anything that's going to be relevant at the moment. Mike Evans is also out for at least another month or so. I'm still a really big believer in Jalen Coker and getting him involved, but we just haven't seen it for 3 games. Matthew Golden, he's got Christian Watson back. He might take another step now that Tucker Kraft is out and maybe he gets more consistent. But I think for me, if I'm ranking these guys, I'm going Tez Johnson, Matthew Golden, and Jalen Coker as you have it listed there. And Andrew, good evening to Andrew. Andrew's my older brother, so good evening to Andrew. He's asking Michael Pittman or Jaylen Warren as flex. So Michael Pittman did not practice today. We'll get more clarity on that tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. The Atlanta Falcons technically have a really good defense on paper. When you're looking at the fantasy points allowed, they are the 5th best team. And I'm going to just remove Andrew's question here and show you, like, Atlanta is the 5th best team allowing fantasy points per game. They allow running back points. They're pretty good against everything else, though. So I do worry about this matchup for Michael Pittman just a little bit. And when we're talking about when we're talking about Jaylen Warren, yeah, the Chargers have been pretty good. Like, the Chargers also, they're the 3rd best team against the fantasy points allowed. In terms of running back points, the Chargers do rank 15th, so they're middle of the road. 21.5 basically points per game. I usually lean towards the running back in these situations. It really depends on what you're looking for, Andrew. If you want, who's more likely to get you 10 to 12 points? I think it's going to be Jaylen Warren, just on the fact that he's going to get 15 carries and 2 to 3, 4 catches. He's also been the goal line back for the Steelers, and he's been really productive all season. I would probably say Jaylen Warren is the guy that I would be most comfortable starting this week, just based on the matchup and the health and everything going forward. It's also Sunday Night Football, which I know, Andrew, you like your Sunday night and Monday Night Football guys. So I'm going to say Jaylen Warren right now over Michael Pittman. Ooh, Harris with a tough one here. Jauan Jennings or Khalil Shakir. I think I have those guys basically in the same area here. I'm pulling up my weekly rankings, which if you guys are not members of the Fantasy Fellowship yet, it's $8 a month. You guys get access to my weekly rankings, my start sit charts, my waiver wire column, my post-game notes, which are all the snaps and the routes, and then my dynasty rankings as well. I'm thinking Khalil Shakir. I have him here at wide receiver 31, and we're going to see Jauan Jennings. Where is Jauan Jennings? I have Jauan Jennings one above him. My bad. I completely missed him. Neck and neck. So here's what I will paint for you, Harris. If you want the safe floor, you go with Khalil Shakir. I feel really comfortable about him getting his 4, 5, 6 catches in this game against Miami. I also like Jauan Jennings. We didn't see him play in that game against the Rams, but he is the team's clear number 1 wide receiver right now. I don't expect Ricky Pearsall back. He is above Kendrick Bourne and Demarcus Robinson and things like that. I might actually flip these guys. I think, to me, I'm going to play Khalil Shakir over Jauan Jennings. It's going to come down to who scores a touchdown, but if there's no touchdown, I'm taking the floor of Khalil Shakir in this one. And good evening to James. Half PPR, we're asking a tough one here. Oh, my goodness. Trey Tucker, Parker Washington, or Tez Johnson. So if we scroll down just a little bit in my rankings, I have Trey Tucker, my wide receiver 37. I have Tez Johnson, my wide receiver 42. I do have Parker Washington up here at wide receiver 32. So I usually do these rankings with full PPR in mind. I think who's the most likely to score a touchdown in this format is probably Trey Tucker, honestly. But I think Parker Washington gives you the highest upside. You have Brian Thomas Jr. dealing with an ankle injury right now. Parker Washington just scored 17 fantasy points in a full PPR format. He's getting 6 to 7 catches per game right now. I think if you want to play it safe, you go with Parker Washington. Just my rule for Thursday Night Football is I usually don't want to play guys that are I want to play my must-start players on Thursday Night Football, James. Otherwise, these flex decisions, whether it's Trey Tucker or Troy Franklin, guys like that, I usually shy away from them on Thursday Night Football. I'm probably going to play Parker Washington here. Despite the tough matchup, I'm going to play Parker Washington. This one's not really close. I'm not interested in Brian Robinson as the handcuff here. We're going to go Michael Wilson here, Harris. I do like Olamide Zaccheaus this week. I do have him ranked as my wide receiver 47 for the week here against the Giants. We're expecting Luther Burden back, and Cole Kmet might be back as well. So I'm probably going to stay away from the Bears players. But Demario Douglas, if I pull up my so I'm going to pull up the post-game notes, which we got 25 people in here tonight. So if you guys are hanging out with me tonight, please like the video. That is a huge help for me and my small YouTube channel. It lets people know this is a good video. But my post-game notes, which every Monday night I pull these up and we talk about them for about a half an hour or so. You guys can access these on the fantasyfellowship.com for just $8 a month. Look at the packages there. We're going to go look for Demario Douglas and this New England Patriots. So he was still the clear basically the number 4 wide receiver. After Kayshon Boutte went down, they did play a lot of Kyle Williams. Demario Douglas's numbers did go up, but I don't really have a strong opinion on this because Mac Hollins, Stephon Diggs, those are going to be the top 2 receivers with Kayshon Boutte out. You're going to see Demario Douglas and Kyle Williams kind of rotate as these 3rd and 4th receiver options. So Douglas, you're really banking on him making one of those big plays or a touchdown or something like that. So to me, I'm going to stick with Parker Washington in this question, James, and feel pretty good about it. I would rank these guys as Parker, Trey, Tez, and then the other guys, Zaccheaus and Douglas below them. And I did get to Andrew's question. We went with Jaylen Warren there. Darius Slayton or Devin Singletary. I think I'm going Darius Slayton here, Harris. He did drop a touchdown at the end of the game last week. He could have had a bigger day. Chicago Bears defense does not scare me, especially against wide receiver. They're allowing 36 points per game. They've allowed 13 touchdowns to the receivers, which is second most in the entire NFL. So it's a very good matchup here, and Jackson Dart continues to play well. I do like Devin Singletary this week. The Bears defense, again, it doesn't scare me, but Singletary's splitting time between Tyrone Tracy. He could get a goal line touchdown, sure, but I think I take that swing with Darius Slayton getting 3-4 catches and 50-60 yards as his floor, whether that's 7 to 10 points and that opportunity for a touchdown. I think I take a swing with Darius Slayton here. It was supposed to be Johnson. So this is back to the Jacobs trade here. All right, so we have Jacobs, Javonte, Emmanuel Wilson, and Gibbs as running backs. So you have Gibbs, Javonte, Jacobs. That's a really good core. Kincaid and Kittle as tight end. I have Keenan, Rice, and CD, and Zay. Okay, so I had it reversed. So you got offered CMC and Goddard for your Kittle, Jacobs, and Zay. I'm staying put here, July. I really like your depth. You have basically three really strong starting running backs. You have 2 really capable tight ends, and your receivers, Keenan, Rice, CD, and Zay. You got CD and Rice on bye this week. So Zay, Keenan, you're going to need those guys this week. You're probably starting 3 running backs this week as well. I guess Javonte's on bye. So this doesn't really move the needle for me. CMC and Goddard. I think I'm going to stick with Jacobs, Zay, and Kittle. That was the side that I kind of preferred when I read that question. So here's a good one from Double Tap. So we'll pull up the post-game notes. I don't have a ton of confidence in this Washington team going to Mariota. They don't have a running game. Jalen Lane did operate as the number 3 receiver last week, 41 out of 65 snaps. So about 2/3 of the snaps, 23 out of 35 routes. Again, about 2/3 of the routes. He gets 5 targets, 5.9 fantasy points. Chris Moore, he's a trusted veteran. He's going to continue to run a lot of snaps and routes. I think with Jalen Lane, you're kind of hoping for that big play touchdown every now and then. Don't have a lot of faith. I think I'm open to him, just adding him on my end of the bench and seeing what happens, but he's not entering my starting lineup, I think, right now, especially with going to Mariota. And good evening to James. Another James. Half PPR. Do we start Trey Tucker, Parker, Tez, Zaccheaus, or pick up Douglas and Calvin Austin? Was this the same? Okay, so I think this was the same James from Twitter. I'm going with Parker Washington here. If you do feel good about Trey Tucker, I'm cool with that, but I'm going to stick with Parker Washington here, James. Gullies. We haven't seen Gullies in a while. Good evening, my man. RB2, full PPR. Do I go with Ramondre if he plays, or Nick Chubb, or pick up Imari? So, I mean, Ramondre didn't practice today. Nick Chubb didn't practice today. I'm not feeling good about either of those guys right now, Gully. I'm thinking you probably have to pick up Imari DeMercado at this point. You could probably cut Nick Chubb for DeMercado if that's how it has to be. But right now, I'm expecting Ramondre doubtful. Nick Chubb's a true questionable. If you want to wait one more day and see if Nick Chubb practices tomorrow, I think that would probably be my move. Give it one more day. If Nick Chubb's limited tomorrow, he's on track to play. If he's not practicing tomorrow, he's probably not playing. So if I can give it one more day, I would. The team rest of season is Hurts, Achane, Chase Brown, Devontae Adams, Sutton, Mark Andrews, Flex would be Worthy, DJ Moore, Kareem Hunt, Booty, Ramondre. And you traded CMC for Sutton, Chase Brown, and Scatabo. So unfortunately, Scatabo got hurt. It did look better before that, but I still think Sutton, Chase Brown, those are valuable pieces that are going to help us here. So it sucks losing Scatabo, but I still don't think this trade is a loss at the moment here. I think you can hang on here. I mean, Scatabo stays healthy though. You're probably liking what you have. I still think you have enough pieces to make this work. Achane, Chase Brown's on bye this week, so you're gonna have to pull up a shitty running back. But keep plowing away. CMC didn't look good last weekend. The 49ers didn't look good in general last weekend, so I do worry about the 49ers just a smidge. But we'll keep firing away here. Devontae, yeah. I still like Jawan Jennings. I still like Worthy. You're kind of in just a tough bye week here, so I wouldn't worry too much. Hopefully, you have 5 or 6 wins on the season already. We can kind of keep moving forward after the big bye week. Oh, Jawan Johnson or Aaron Jones? This question. Well, if it comes down to it, I think I'm still going to go Jawan Johnson over Aaron Jones. He's been pretty healthy. We did lose, Shaheed had a lot of targets last week for the Saints, and now we're just looking at Chris Olave and Jawan Johnson. Jawan Johnson already had 4 targets, 3 catches. He caught a touchdown last week from Tyler Shuck. I think I'd probably go with Jawan Johnson over Aaron Jones here. My brother here with a fun question. Bucks D or Pats D? These two teams play each other, so this is a tough one. Let me pull this up here. I'm gonna go. So if you guys are ever in like a tough defense question, I like to go to my DraftKings game lines tab on the Fellowship, and I kind of look at it this way. I'm looking at the team totals. Tampa Bay is projected to win this game by 2.5. Tampa Bay is supposed to score 25.5. The Patriots are supposed to score 23. It's in Tampa Bay. I probably lean slightly towards Tampa Bay in this one, Andrew. And I know the Pats have been playing good. They've had a soft schedule, though, to be fair. I think Tampa Bay coming off a bye. I'm going to lean Tampa Bay here in this one for Andrew. Number 1 team has Josh Allen, Jacobs, Bijan, Rice, JSN, Gadsden, Javonte Waddle, Jacoby Myers. That's not fair, man. Whew, that's a tough team. Gadsden's been amazing since he's taken over. Javonte Waddle have been both great value picks. You have Jacoby Myers now. That's a very good team. It's going to take a lot to beat that team. I still like your team quite a bit once we get out of these buys, Gully. But that's definitely the team to beat right there. I do like Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson, I think he's a legit NFL player. We're not expecting Chris Godwin. We know Mike Evans is not playing in this one. I'm looking for the Tampa Bay numbers from week 8 here. Tez Johnson was the clear, he was a starting receiver. He ran 26 to 27 routes for Baker Mayfield. He had 6 targets, 5 catches. He got 9.3 points back in week 8. Tez Johnson is a very good player to me. He's starting over Sterling Shepard. He's the clear number 2 target in this offense. Also, Bucky Irving's not expected to play. I think Tez Johnson has my confidence this week as a wide receiver 3 flex. And we're number 2, 7-2. So, all right, Gullies, let's get through the bye week here, and I think you can make a run at this guy. Double tap. This one's not close, my man. I'm going Justin Fields. Dylan Gabriel, there's just not a lot of passing volume there. They're going to run the ball 25 times with Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford, probably up to 30 plus. You take the Justin Fields here, pretty easy for me. And we got a Sports Dog question. So good evening, Sports Dog. Thank you, my guy. We got the old 8-team PPR super flex. Receivers are London, J-Mo, Pickens, Allen, Shaheed, Shakir. On my waivers is Quentin Johnston, Coleman, Coker, Booty, Coker. Do I add one? If I do, who do I drop? Yeah, I'm not dropping London, J-Mo, Pickens, Keenan, Shaheed, Shakir. So if you're not willing to move off of one of those receivers, I'm going to stay put. I do like Quentin Johnston a lot, though. Like if you have any other running back that is droppable, I think I add Quentin Johnston here. But you're this week without Pickens, you're probably starting London, J-Mo, Shakir, Shaheed, Allen. Like those are all. That's a really tough number 2 choice. I don't know who I would pick there, number 2. But I do. So I do have to get going here, guys. Sports Dog. If you want to reach out to me, you can email me at the fellow KGB. Let me know who your running backs are to drop here. I do want Quentin Johnston on my team. If he's available via waivers, like that's stupid. He should be on a roster right now. I know it's an 8-team league, but he is a high upside player. And especially against Pittsburgh this weekend, he can make some noise. But I think for now, you probably stick tight with what you have. If you're not willing to drop a running back here, I think you stick tight with what you have and kind of see what happens. But that's going to do it for tonight's show, guys. We're going to go live tomorrow night. If you guys are new to the show, we do go live on Thursdays. We're going to go live at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll get you guys set for Thursday Night Football. We'll go over the player news, answer any start-sit questions you guys have, and basically just get you guys ready for the week. So tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we'll hang out. Thank you for watching the show tonight. Again, if you guys like the video, hit like. I'm serious. Like, it's such a huge help for my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you guys are new. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me as viewers. Have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow at Thursday night, and take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Peace.